Oh, dear crystal, make me rich. And you, bring me my special someone. Why is it that we're not supposed to travel during Mercury retrograde? All jokes aside, today we're going to be talking about the more mystical side to spirituality and asking the questions, is this just all placebo effect and bull? Or is there really something to astrology, numerology, crystals, the more woo-woo side of spirituality, which a lot of us are drawn to? So to anybody who's never been here before, hi, I'm Elizabeth Blackwell from Blissful Home and Body. And I've spent well over the last decade of my life so I can help others set sacred space and get to their highest and greatest selves. So let's get started. New Age, woo-woo, occult, witch. These are some of the words that are a lot of times associated with modern day spirituality. And they're really kind of considered dirty words when it comes to norms and society. But as with most things that are heavily judged, what it comes down to is they're just not understood. The amount of time that I have spent relaying to people that I don't worship a crystal or a rock is much higher than I would like to admit to. But these things are useful in our lives. But a lot of times people just don't understand why we are attracted to them or bring them into our lives. So let's talk about stones and astrology and numerology and why these things are tools that we use along our spiritual journey. Tools. That is the word that I want you to attach to when you think of all of the more mystical side of spirituality. Just like a hammer, nails, and wood does not make a home, but you use them to build a home, that's what all of these things are. They are tools that we utilize along our spiritual journey to tap into or be a part of something that is beyond our five senses, beyond things that we can hear, see, touch, taste, and smell. These things they hold a base energy. And when we are trying to set up an energy around us, these things are helpful. So this all basically comes down to an energy and what we are feeling or building around us. Today I'm going to kind of touch upon my top three, which are numerology, astrology, and stones. I will touch a little bit about things like psychic readings, tarot, runes, pendulums, those more predictive things, but I'm mainly going to touch upon those top three. So let's talk about astrology to start with. So when it comes to astrology, astrology is not trying to predict the future. It is basically about reading the mood that is around us at the time. So when it comes to the planets, the stars, other celestial bodies that are making up our universe, I kind of like to think of them as each having their own personality. And as they come closer to or further from us and our spiritual bodies, that they tend to pull on the energy. So just like the moon pulls on the ocean and creates the tides, these other celestial, there we go, bodies kind of pull on the different energies with us. So Venus is known for making up that kind of love section of our life. Well, it's not some being in the sky that's sprinkling love down on us, but it is setting a mood or an energy and knowing how close to us or far away each of these things are helps us to understand what that base energy is. It's kind of like understanding the weather, that it is a prediction based upon past models of what we will likely experience. And so just like a weatherman is reading what past things are and different currents and fronts in order to try to predict what the weather is outside, a good astrologer is just letting you know what the energy is around you and what the energy was around the day you were born or specific times in your life. But it's not predicting the future. It's basically just understanding what the mood of the universe is around us. So when it comes to numerology, it can touch our lives in a variety of ways, but the two main ones that I think of are our birth number or seeing repeating numbers. But again, what this comes down to is just each of those numbers has a representation of an energy or a more holistic view of something. So when you understand what those numbers mean, then it just helps you to read what the current energy of the time is. So in order to get to your birth number, if you don't know, you take the day, the month, and the year to which you were born, and you add them up until you get a single number. With the only exceptions being if you have master numbers, which are 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, etc. But for me, I'm a number 3. And so the number 3 represents creativity, innovation, outgoingness, expression, which happens to pretty much match up with exactly who I am. But I didn't see that number and then decide who I was going to be in life. And each of those things could be applied in a variety of different ways according to who I am. So it's just an understanding that you're not predicting the future when it comes to numerology, but again, you're getting a holistic understanding of what the energy is around each of those numbers. That same thing goes back to seeing repeating numbers. If you see the number 111 repeatedly, that is usually an energy of the start of something or something being kicked off or at the beginning of its creation. So if you start to see repeating numbers, it's just understanding that that's what the energy is around you and knowing that that can be applied in many different areas of your life. So then the third thing that I'm sharing, at least for today, is stones or crystals, which I like to give the comparison. If you had shown somebody a remote control or a cell phone 150 or 200 years ago, I certainly would have been burned as a witch because people wouldn't have understood what it was. But when I look at a stone, I don't think, oh dear stone, bring this to my life. I like to look at it more like a magnet, that there is a crystalline structure which lines up in specific stones, and those either repel or pull specific energies to you and your space. So when I wear specific stones around my neck in specific shapes, and I keep them in my space. One, because I enjoy them. I enjoy looking at them and I enjoy the feel of them. But it is about either pushing or pulling certain energies to me and my surroundings. But it is not a living, breathing being that is bringing something in or has a personality. it is an energy that, again, it is either pushing or pulling towards you. So the last little area that I'm going to touch upon here is things like psychic readings, tarot cards, oracle cards, runes, tea leaves, anything that is used to predict a potential future. And for this, I'm going to use an analogy from one of my favorite movies, which is The Mothman Prophecies, which is these individuals are just seeing a little bit further down the road. That if there is a window washer on top of a building, that their perspective is just a little bit different than somebody who's standing on street level. That they're going to see just a little bit further. And so if they see two cars that are potentially coming together, that those may result in an accident. But they're reading an instant in time. And they are using tools such as tarot cards, oracle cards, runes, any of those more predictive things to, again, tap into an energy around you or what may potentially happen. But they are not telling you for certain what is going to happen in your future. These individuals are just a little bit more in tune with reading energies, and they're reading them at a specific moment. So when you are getting a reading or tapping into any of these tools, that those are lying out what the specific energy is around you at this specific time. And they may tell you what a potential for your future is. But none of that is a certainty. Just like the weatherman gets it wrong a good portion of the time, or it may be raining one county over, but beautifully sunny where you are. And they're trying to look at that holistic view. But all of this is, again, tapping into a base energy, something that is beyond what our tangible senses are reading at the exact moment. And then, because this just seems important to me to put out there, you yourself have that same ability that just like somebody practices learning to play music, but anybody can pick up and strum a guitar, that you have those same gifts and skills. And it usually comes down to your intuition, your gut feeling, and what is resonating with you. But you have the same ability to tap into all of these energies. But it's learning to use these things as tools, not believing that they themselves are going to tell you what the future is or bring something to you, but understanding that it is giving you a picture of what the base energy is. Sorry, I don't have a better way to describe it, but that's the number one way that I can tap into that, is it's just understanding what the energy is. This is never an easy subject because we are trying to explain intangible things into tangible, at this point, English words. And it's not always an easy thing to do. But hopefully this video has helped you to understand that these things are tools in helping us to understand the energy or the intangible things that are around us. If hopefully it'll help you or help you to explain to somebody else, and we can take out some of the stigma of these dirty words that fall around spirituality. If this video has helped you, I ask that you please hit that like button, as it really does help out small channels like this. Or if you feel like you resonate here, consider subscribing and join this community so that we can all help each other get to our highest and greatest selves. So with that, I am sending you all so much light and love, and I hope you all stay well, my friends.